Children and adolescents can have mental health disorders that may interfere with the way they think, feel, and act. These disorders may lead to school failure, family conflicts, drug abuse, and delinquency. Call AES today, 804-321-2777. Innovative educational and counseling services in the home, school, and community. 804-321-2777, or visit AES on the web at aesva.com. AES, opening doors to a brighter future.
Hi, I'm Cavell Phillips, host of What Works RVA, and we're here in Lakeside today at the original Gravity. Let's go inside and meet owner Tony Amendolia. Come on in. And we're here inside of the original Gravity with owner Tony Amendolia. Great to be here, beautiful store. And you've been here 2 years, and brewing beer is really becoming popular here in the RVA. How popular is it? How many clubs and so forth?
It has really grown a lot, especially in the last 10 years. Yeah, there's a couple homebrew clubs. There's the James River Homebrewers Club that meets the second Wednesday of every month at Mekong, 7 o'clock. There's also another club on the south side called MASH, and they meet at Extra Billy's Brewery on the south side location there. But it has really grown. I started about 20 years ago, and back then it was really hard for me to even find other people that brewed. Nowadays it's grown so much that, like the James River Homebrewers, we fill the entire front room up there in Mekong Restaurant.
And I see also you have winemaking supplies.
Yeah, I have a pretty nice selection of winemaking supplies, different levels of different kits for, all different tastes, from your fruity wines to your kind of medium level to the ultra premium Wine Expert Eclipse series there.
Excellent, excellent. And as I mentioned, I know absolutely nothing about this, but you're going to show me how to get started from start to finish, step by step, right?
Yeah. So the first thing you need is a pot about this big. This is a 5-gallon stainless steel pot. Okay. Stainless steel is the preferred, type of pot that you would use. You don't have to.
There's another type?
Yeah, you could get away with using an aluminum pot, but stainless is not going to impart any off flavors into your beer, so that would be preferred. And then you're going to need some ingredients.
I see the India Pale Ale here. I'm familiar with the name. Tell me a little bit about it.
Okay, yeah, the IPA. That's probably our most popular kit here. And like I said, you're going to put about 2.5 gallons of water in a pot. And then this is your steeping grain right here. So you're going to take this grain, and you're going to put it in a muslin bag, and you're going to steep that for about 30 minutes. Okay. At 150 degrees. There's actually some more grain here too. Wonderful. So you put all that together and you steep it for about 30 minutes at 150 degrees. Okay. And then you're going to take that out, and you can make dog biscuits with it, or you can compost it, or whatever you'd like to do with it. Then you bring your water up to a boil, and you put in your malt extract. So these are the sugars that are extracted from grains like this. So this is a beginner kit, so some of the process has kind of been done for you, which makes it easier, and it means you only have to have a 5-gallon pot instead of needing like a 10-gallon pot. Oh yeah. And then, so this is the dried malt extract. This is the powdered form of this stuff right here. Okay. Once you get it up to a boil, you're going to start adding your hops. And so for this IPA, we've got some Columbus hops, some Cascade, and some Cascade hops. And those are some classic IPA hops. West Coast, real citrusy hop flavor there. And so you follow your instructions and you add these at different times. When you put your hops in at the beginning of the boil, they're going to boil for 60 minutes. That's going to give you a lot of bitterness. But as you add hops towards the end of the boil, you get less bitterness and more of that really nice hop flavor and aroma that you're looking for. Okay. So everything else that's in here, this is your yeast. So once you boil the wort or unfermented beer, correct. You're going to cool it down at the end, and you're going to top it up to the full 5 gallons with just some water, and you're going to add this yeast, and that's when the magic happens. Wow! Wow! And it's going to turn into beer. Once you let it ferment, you ferment it for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Okay. And then you're going to transfer it to a bottling bucket where you're then going to add this priming sugar. The yeast will then eat this sugar, and once it eats this sugar, the CO2 that's a byproduct of fermentation has nowhere to go because you put a cap on the bottle, and that's how you get carbonation. You get the bubbles in your beer naturally.
Wonderful. This is a starter kit, and from here, for those who may have maybe a little more experience, they would move to the next step or the next level.
Yeah, let me show you what we have down here.
We have a great selection of kits. The next step for maybe more experienced brewer would be here.
Yeah, you know, after a while you get kind of tired of just choosing the same kits, which is basically a recipe inside a box.
Sure.
And you want to branch out, so you can come over here, and I've got all the different malt extracts. These are the liquids here, and these are the dry extracts here. And you can start formulating your own recipes with these and choose your own hops and your own yeast.
Hey Richmond, what have you been doing that's innovative, fun, and new? Lose that puzzled look. Check out What Works RVA TV weekly for a spotlight on people, places, events, and much more. Watch What Works RVA TV Tuesdays at 5 on CW Richmond.
We've been talking about the inexperienced and the more experienced brewers. Of course, more experienced brewers, they like to formulate their own flavors and add their own little special touch to it. We're now here at the yeast and hops. Tony, tell us a little bit more about this process.
Well, you know, beer is made from just a few basic ingredients. You've got water, barley, hops, and yeast. Well, I don't know if if you go down to a brew pub, you can see just so many different kinds of beer. Well, the different types of hops and the different yeast make these few ingredients, you know, the realm of flavors that you can get is just incredible. So Cascade hops are probably one of your most common hops, and they provide a nice grapefruit flavor that you get in a lot of IPAs.
Okay.
Then you've got Saaz hops, or I've heard someone's corrected me and they're pronounced Zats, but I say Saaz.
Okay.
And these are going to be a spicier flavor. This is a noble hop that's going to be found in a lot of your classic, you know, European type lagers and stuff.
And very popular.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, the yeast, I mean, there's so many varieties, but the most popular is going to be this one, California ale yeast. This is so popular that it's available not just from White Labs, but Y Yeast. They call it American ale yeast.
Okay.
Same strain, two different companies. And then you have the dry version of this. It's called Saf Ale US 05. All three of these are basically the same because this is the home brewer's favorite yeast. It doesn't provide or it does provide a very clean flavor profile. It doesn't add a lot of its own characteristic.
Sure.
Now, opposite end of the spectrum would be something like a Hefeweizen yeast. That produces, you know, the German wheat beer, which has a lot of the clove and banana flavors that you get in those beers.
So where are we now?
All right, your beer has finished fermenting. So hopefully the sugars have been converted over to alcohols. We want to make sure that that happens before you bottle it. You want to make sure that that has happened before you bottle it, or you may have exploding bottles.
Whoa.
So what you're going to do is you're going to take a sample and you're going to put it in like a test jar like this.
Sure.
And this is called a hydrometer. You float this, you know, once you've got some beer in there, you float this in here and you read it where the level of the beer comes across on this scale here.
Okay.
If you get a consecutive, you know, 2 or 3 consecutive readings where it hasn't changed, then you know you're ready to go and bottle. At that point, you're going to siphon your beer into this bucket.
Okay.
This is called your bottling bucket. And you're going to want to be very careful when you siphon into here. You're going to put your siphon tube all the way to the bottom of the bucket, because at this point you don't want to aerate the beer, because oxygen is not your friend at this point in time.
Oh, okay.
Once you get it in here, you get it mixed with the priming sugar. It's a small amount, about 5 ounces of priming sugar you're going to mix in with your 5 gallons of beer. To bottle the beer, once you've got it in there and it's mixed with the priming sugar, you're going to attach this tube on here. And you can use this handy little thing here. This is a bottle filler.
Okay,
You
good.
can have this kind of sticking over the edge. And you attach this stuff here. So the bottle filler, what's handy about the bottle filler is it's spring-loaded right here.
Gotcha.
So you wouldn't go touching that when you're bottling beer, because you'll sanitize all this stuff with your
That's a no-no.
sanitizing solution. But what that does is allows you to open this spigot. The beer will not flow out until you press it down into the bottom of the bottle. When you press it down, the beer will flow, and then when you lift it up, it stops. And so you can go bottle to bottle
Sure.
and fill all of your bottles that way. And then once they're all full, you're going to cap them. You want to give that a try?
Sure. Matter of fact, I've been looking forward to this part.
You set your cap on there, you press that down on there, and you want both handles to come down until they're level. And push it down.
And away we go.
There you go. Just like that.
Ta-da.
And then you have your bottled beer.
Some law firms advertise that they want to represent people with serious injuries.
McEachin & G believes that whether it's a neck or back strain,
or whether you've lost a limb or the life of a loved one,
it is serious, and the insurance company and your attorney should take it just as seriously.
At McEachin & G, every case for every client matters.
Let the experience, the personal attention, and the caring of McEachin & G represent you with your personal injury.
Now you are officially a beer brewer.
And I hope you're proud of me.
Absolutely. And this is all the equipment you need here in one box to continue your brewing adventure.
I hope you've had as much fun as I have in learning how to brew beer with Tony Amendolia here at the Original Gravity. Everything you need is right here. It's been really, really fun. Stop by to see Tony, and he'll share with you even more about brewing your own beer. I'm Cavell Phillips here at Original Gravity in Lakeside. Join me again next time for What Works RVA.
Advanced Visual Production, the first choice for all your sound, lighting, and video presentation needs. Your vision is our mission. AVP has produced everything from small studio projects to arena-sized presentations. Whether you need lighting for effect or production lighting and staging, AVP is the leader in the field. And if your vision requires audio or video recording, our video production facilities and editing suites provide the most professional content. So bring your ideas to Advanced Visual Production, and together we'll bring your vision to life. Dream big, and our design teams will show you how it can be accomplished. Whether it's decor lighting, sporting events, concert, or presentation, with AVP behind you, your event will be a huge success. Let Advanced Visual Production transform your world. From the most intimate setting to the largest indoor or outdoor venues, AVP is your choice to bring your vision to life.
Hey Richmond, what have you been doing that's innovative, fun, and new? Lose that puzzled look. Check out What Works RVA TV weekly for a spotlight on people, places, events, and much more. Watch What Works RVA TV Tuesdays at 5 on CW Richmond. Standing in the heart of Jackson Ward at 00 Clay Street here in Richmond is the current building, which houses the Black History Museum and Cultural Arts Center of Virginia. It was founded by Carol Anderson Sr. and opened its doors to the public in 1991. This current building was purchased back in 1922 by the Council of Colored Women under the leadership of Mrs. Maggie L. Walker. Jackson Ward was revered in its heyday as the cultural mecca of Black society in the South. It was also nicknamed the Little Harlem of the South and the Black Capitalism Hub. There is so much rich heritage to absorb on a short walk through Jackson Ward.
Once again, welcome to What Works RVA, where we highlight people, places, things, and of course today we're standing in front of the Maggie L. Walker National Historic Site. We're here with Ranger George Peterson.
Good morning, sir.
And there's a lot of history here.
There certainly is, sir. Mrs. Walker's house was built in 1883. She'd be the third person to own that house. And it was on what was called Quality Row. Well, the reason it got called that name was because when Mrs. Walker lived here, in addition to her neighbors were prominent African-American business owners, doctors, and insurance executives. So this was kind of the creme de la creme of the African-American community when Mrs. Walker was living here.
Right.
Her house, the architectural style, is called Gothic Revival in the Italianate style. And Italianate refers to those carved lintels you see over the windows,
sure,
and that intricate cornice work you see below the eave of the house. She's going to buy the house herself in 1904 for the princely sum of $4,800.
Wow.
It's going to take her about a year to move in because she'll make some changes to the house.
Sure.
She'll buy it from a doctor by the name of Robert Jones.
Sure.
So she believed in promoting advancement of the race, and African Americans buying from other African Americans. So she was trying to concentrate African American buying power and purchasing power here in Jackson Ward. And that's one of the reasons that Mrs. Walker is so well known, is because of her business ability and as leader of the Independent Order of St. Luke, as well as the president of the St. Luke Penny Savings Bank.
That's right. Very influential lady.
She was nationally known. Mrs. Walker was one of the founding members of the NAACP here in Richmond. Mrs. Walker also was quite influential in trying to bring about women's rights. She was very supportive of women's rights to vote. She went out and tried to get women out to vote when the vote came around in the early 20s. And Mrs. Walker was also one who was a proponent of African American rights, and she was a strong supporter of the streetcar boycott in the early part of the 19th century here.
She impacted the city of Richmond greatly, and I'm sure that has a lot to do with a school just a few blocks west of here being named after her.
Yes, sir. One of Mrs. Walker's legacies is that in 1938, a school was named for her here in Richmond. It was the Maggie O. Walker High School. In those days, a segregated school.
Sure.
Today, it's the Maggie O. Walker Governor's School, an excellent school, worthy of Mrs. Walker's name, I believe.
Special moments don't just happen, they are created. The talented staff of Occasions by AK know this all too well. Hi, this is Angie of Occasions by AK. Call me today to plan your next event.
The building you're going to see in front of you when we go out the back door is the Carriage House Garage. We still use it. There's a Park Service vehicle in there. In 1904, the Independent Order of St. Luke bought Mrs. Walker a Christmas present. It was a carriage, 2 horses, and a coachman's uniform. Mrs. Walker will keep that carriage until around 1911 when she buys an electric car. Then she's going to have a series of luxury cars until 1928 when she has a Packard limousine. But you can imagine Mrs. Walker will come out of her bedroom, come down the hallway above us here, into the girls' room, down the elevator, into the playroom. Alfonso, the chauffeur, would push her down the hallway. There was a ramp that connected the back of the house with the carriage house. She'd push him down the ramp, onto a platform, into the back seat of the Packard, and away Mrs. Walker would go. Now, we only recently verified that in 1932, Mrs. Walker owned a Pierce Arrow. If you're unacquainted with that car, it is a step up from a Packard, roughly equivalent to a Rolls Royce. Now, sometimes we do have visitors that really get caught up in Mrs. Walker's material possessions. How big this house is, her cars, that sort of thing. And that's not what I'd like you to remember about Mrs. Walker. So to illustrate what I would like you to remember, can we agree she was very successful professionally? But to really appreciate Mrs. Walker's professional success, you have to view it from the lens of her personal life, which was very tragic. Even though Mrs. Walker's biological father lives here in Richmond, she never really gets to know him. Her stepfather, William Mitchell, is going to disappear in 1876. Her middle son is going to die at 7 months old in 1894. Her brother, Johnny, is going to die in that same year. 1908, she falls in the house and breaks her kneecap and walks with a limp until she's confined to the wheelchair. But she gets a cool nickname from the Richmond Planet. They call her the Lame Lioness after that. Then in 1915, her husband is accidentally killed by her oldest son. 1922, her mother dies. 1923, her oldest son dies. And in 1928, Mrs. Walker is confined to the wheelchair. But through all that sadness and adversity, Mrs. Walker continues to help people. She tries to bring about social change and is a role model to all women, but particularly African American women. So that's what I'd like you to remember about Mrs. Walker.
Yeah.
Belle Phillips, host of What Works RVA TV, here on CW Richmond, inviting you to tune in and turn up Upbeat on 106.5 The Beat, Sundays 7 to 10, for what's going on in the community, how people help people, and the best mix of gospel music. That's Upbeat on 106.5 The Beat and upbeatgospel.com.
The way the neighborhood is going, you have the neighborhood on one hand being fixed up, people are coming in, buying places, fixing them up. And it's a process called gentrification. So the houses look better, the prices go up, tax base goes up. The downside is that some of the original people who lived here can't afford to live here.
Yeah.
Richmond, what have you been doing that's innovative, fun, and new? Lose that puzzled look. Check out What Works RVA TV weekly for a spotlight on people, places, events, and much more. Watch What Works RVA TV Tuesdays at 5 on CW Richmond. Works RVA. Give us a call at 804-649-7400 to find out how you could be a guest on our show and learn more about this show's sponsorship packages and opportunities. What Works RVA is a production of Soul of Virginia. All rights reserved. The comments and opinions expressed by the guests do not necessarily reflect the views of Soul of Virginia or this station.